Hypothermia in June, 2 hikers in distress on Little Haystack Mountain. Hi guys, and welcome to Doug's Shoe Bushcraft. Here's the story. I'll start off by reading a press release. This is from New Hampshire Fish and Game. Hikers assisted off Franconia Ridge, Franconia, New Hampshire, Saturday, June 3rd, 9:30 p.m. New Hampshire Fish and Game was notified of 2 hikers in distress. One hiker in the party was showing symptoms of mild hypothermia, and they didn't think they could continue walking. The man, 29, and his wife, 26, of Franklin, New Hampshire, had started hiking up Falling Waters Trail at 1 p.m. By 7:30 p.m., they'd made it to the summit of Little Haystack and decided to continue onto the Liberty Springs tent site, which was located 2 miles across Franconia Ridge. Approximately a quarter mile past the summit of Little Haystack, the pair began to succumb to the cold and wet conditions because it's been raining on and off all day. Eventually they became so cold that they called 911 for assistance. Conservation officers and members of the Pemigewasset Valley Search and Rescue Team responded to the Falling Waters trailhead and began a 3-mile hike to the 2 hikers. The rescue party arrived at their location at approximately 1:20 a.m. the following morning. The couple had been able to make a fire and were equipped with a tent and sleeping bags. Unfortunately, they were unable to keep warm and dry due to their clothing, the weather, their lack of experience. Their sleeping bags were soaked from the day's rain. Both were wearing cotton, which retains water, preventing them from staying dry. Rescuers provided the couple with warm clothing, food, and water. Once the 2 hikers were warm, they started hiking out with the rescue party at 1:40 a.m. The 2 hikers and the rescuers arrived back at the trailhead at approximately 6 a.m. And then continuing in the press release, here's some good advice from New Hampshire Fish and Game, I would say. Events like these could be avoided by paying attention to weather prior to departing on an outing. There are several websites such as mountwashington.org that can predict weather conditions in these high elevations of the White Mountains. Also, hikers are asked to properly prepare for those conditions for a list of, quote, 10 essentials everyone should carry while enjoying the outdoors. So there's 2 links that I'll put in the description of this video. Actually 3 links, the press release, and then mountwashington.org, where you can get updated weather information for that elevation, and the 10 essential items, they're calling it, things you should carry. So what happened here? It's kind of hard to say. Why did they decide to camp on top of the ridge? They hiked all the way to the ridge, felt really cold, didn't think they could hike any further, and just stopped there. I wasn't there, just doesn't seem to make sense to me. Here you have 2 young people, I mean half my age, not aware of any medical issues, and they were able to get to the ridge, hike all the way up top of the ridge. Once rescuers got there, they walked all the way down. They weren't carried in stretchers, they weren't airlifted, they were able to hike down. So if it were me, I mean, I wouldn't have gotten in the situation. I would have wore proper clothing, not cotton, and I would have put my sleeping bag or whatever I had in a trash bag or something in my pack so I wouldn't get wet. But let's say for some reason I was in that situation, I don't see why I wouldn't have just hiked down, because according to the press release, it was after 1 in the morning by the time rescuers got there. A long time before that. I could have just hiked right down. And I would think as you're hiking up, you're getting more and more cold in the wind. So why not turn back? Why just keep going until you don't know what to do? So were they really incapable of going forward? Or was it fear? Or was it them not thinking correctly? Because in my opinion, the organ that is affected most quickly and severely by hypothermia is your brain. They're not making good decisions. So when you're hiking up the ridge and you're starting to get too cold, that's the time to make a sound decision, which typically is turn back. But I don't know what happened. A couple people made a mistake. You know, I'm a human being. I've made mistakes, believe it or not. I've made a lot of mistakes. Okay, so my purpose in recording this video isn't to shame anybody, anything like that. It's just that I want to get the word out. A lot of people don't know that New Hampshire, particularly in the White Mountains at elevation, you can get cold weather in the summer. At elevation, you can get winter weather in June. Any time of year, you can have snow, strong winds, below freezing temperatures. And a lot of people in New Hampshire, in the White Mountains, seem to get in trouble in June, every June. Last year, there was one particularly bad day. Many people got into trouble. Some needed assistance, and one man didn't make it. He was taken by hypothermia and exposure on Mount Washington. Wonderful human being, you know, married, children. It's very tragic. So I've just decided to once in a while have a news on the trail broadcast and try to bring you some knowledge, some awareness of these things. And at this point, I'd like to read some comments, some online comments, different people sharing their wisdom from their many years of hiking and backpacking experience. This comment is by Use This One for Gear. That's the name he's going by. In this case, they're only 2 downhill miles from a road. So the best thing to do is head back down. Even if you're mildly hypothermic and don't have a flashlight, you should be able to make it down in a few hours, which is much faster than waiting for search and rescue. Also, once you get moving and off the ridge line, you'll be much warmer. It sounds like they were able to walk out under their own power once SAR was there to guide them. So I'm guessing that the couple in this case was uncomfortable hiking in the dark. One thing you can do to be prepared for emergency situations is to get really comfortable hiking and navigating in the dark. And that's very true. I've practiced hiking without a flashlight. It can be dangerous. You can trip and tumble. You can fall off a cliff. There's 90-degree drops where you can just fall and you're gone. But a lot of these trails, so steep, they have switchbacks, but let's say you fall, you can roll and get all kinds of broken bones maybe before you can stop yourself. So yeah, practice walking in the dark, but why not bring a flashlight? I mean, these days, flashlights are small. I'm old, so back in the day we had the big 2D flashlights with like 12 lumens. We had the enormous 6-volt lantern battery flashlights, right? Things like that. Now you can get a tiny little flashlight that practically lights up the world. You can have extra batteries. You can have a battery pack, a USB battery pack to charge it back up, a lot of them. You know, you can carry 2 flashlights. So that's what you should be doing. Okay, this one is from Neoshade. The #1 most valuable tool that you have against cold, rain, wind, snow, and injury is your legs. Never shelter when you can just leave. You are a fantastic machine that burns only 75 kilocalories an hour sitting still, but 500 to 1,000 kilocalories an hour when exercising. To put this into context, your body needs to be within 5 degrees of normal body temperature. Hypothermia begins at only 3.6 below normal. So if you were sitting still, it would take over 2 hours to burn enough calories to burn yourself out of hypothermia, assuming no loss of heat at all. But if you're exercising hard, you're putting out enough energy to pull your body out of hypothermia every 10 minutes. And without perspiration or other means to cool off, you can go into heat stroke in just 25 minutes. You have a very powerful furnace at your disposal. A lot of people don't realize that. I don't know about all those numbers, but sounds right to me. But you do carry a heater around, which is your muscles, particularly your legs. And if you can climb a mountain to that ridge, you must have some decent leg muscles, and it just heats you up. So if you're sitting there on top of the ridge in the wind chill is cooling you off. It's colder temperature, air temperature, the higher you go up generally. And like the person's pointing out, you're not creating heat from your body furnace. You start hiking down, and just minutes, like 5 or 10 minutes, you're into the trees, out of almost all the wind, or most of the wind. Also, you're going in the valley, other mountains, ridges are going to be blocking depending on which way the wind's going. Body temperature's going up from exertion. There you go. If there's some reason why you can't walk, well, that's different. Then you do have to shelter in place. You broke a leg, had some sort of medical incident, there's somebody else had an injury, you're deciding not to leave them. There's different reasons why you have to stay. But if you can go, you know, I agree with this person. If you can go, then you do. Head back if it's that close to the trailhead. Ski Canoe Sun 32 writes, I spent most of my life outdoors. And if there's anything I've learned, it's that prevention is the best cure for most issues in the outdoors. In this case, what that would have meant keeping sleeping bags and extra clothing dry. I recommend lining a backpack with a contractor bag. Then when you get soaked hiking and the temps drop, you pitch your tent, strip your cold and wet layers, and put on dry clothes and dive into your sleeping bag. If you have a buddy and one/both of you are starting into hypothermia, pick who's going to be big spoon and share the sleeping bag. Eat something to give your body fuel to keep warm. Stay hydrated, keep moving. Jumping jacks, windmills, etc. All good options. Keep a sense of humor and your wits about you. There you go. You got in a similar situation by taking those few steps and knew to do those simple things. Wouldn't need to call rescue. Unruly Lunch writes, hypothermia plays some nasty tricks on the brain. They could have lost the ability to think clearly, which is one of the early signs of hypothermia anyway. Only 2 downhill miles from a road, but did they know it was there? Did they have a map? Did they come up from the other side and not even know the road was so close? Short answer, know the conditions, know the terrain, have your essentials, including a map, know the right gear for the conditions, and be prepared / Scoutmaster. This one's by Old Vermont Guy. I was hiking yesterday at around 3,500 feet in Vermont, rainy and in the mid-40s. Ran into one guy in jeans and a woman in shorts, both 3 to 4 miles from the trailhead. Well, there's the problem. There's your accident waiting to happen. And don't be like that. Know the dangers. Don't be dressed in shorts, have no gear, and then just through not knowing any better, hike into winter weather. You're hiking from summer to winter without realizing it. And I hope this video reaches someone. There's more. I think this is enough for today, guys. But the past videos are still up. And in fact, there's 2 of my playlists I'm going to recommend. Put the link in the description so you can just click on it. All the videos will come up. So one is News on the Trail. If you like this video, it's other news. And the second playlist I'm calling Survival Skills, Get Back Alive. And you know, I can't teach you everything there is to know about survival in one YouTube video. What I can do is start you to see some of your blind spots. Like if you watch this video to the end, now you know you're hiking in the White Mountains in the summer, go to the top of the ridge, it can be winter weather. That can save your life right there. Or what else is there that you don't know? Well, click on the link. Survival Skills, Get Back Alive. And if you like this video, if you like the playlist, share it with somebody. Then you're making a difference. And I thank you guys for joining me. I'm just so honored. Every single person that watches, we're getting on the channel, we're getting close to 10,000 subscribers now. Thank you so much. I'm really, really humbled by that. And again, that's enough for now. I'll stop talking. I'll see you again soon. Delight yourself in the Lord, and He'll give you the desires of your heart. Psalm 37:4.